Welcome to Friday Night Chats with Garage Geek. Although it is Saturday afternoon, it's a rainy Saturday afternoon in LA, which is very strange. I actually went out this afternoon. I picked up some pizza, and I actually went to the record store, so I have a couple records to show off in a little bit. But yeah, so yesterday I was busy rearranging my room, so I have this whole week off, and I have pledged that I am going to get my room in order, and I hope that after this is done, by next week, when I'm doing this Friday Night Chat, I can give you a tour of my room finally, because it's just, it's been crazy. But I have a solution to some of my storage problems. It just took me forever to come up with this idea, but I think this idea is going to work. Okay, so I have a couple of things to show off before I talk about movies and shows. Let's start off with 4 comic books. Now, I've been going on Whatnot, and I have not been showing what I've been getting because I'm just so embarrassed, because I just keep buying too many comic books, and so I don't show all of you because of my addiction embarrassment. But I have slowed down. I'm at least I'm doing it in waves. So because it was payday, I went ahead and I bought some, but now I've stopped. But yeah, it kind of is what it is. I don't know. But I want to show off 4 comics that I got that I think are really quite special. Now, the reason I like these is the colors involved. Now, the first one, and they're all these kind of older DCs. So here is Hercules Unbound #1. Now, the cover of that isn't, that great, like the colors and everything involved. But I like that they're more obscure comics, and I didn't really know about them. So, for example, this is Sword and Sorcery #5, a 20-cent DCer. But look at the beautiful colors on that, especially the background. The next one is Kong the Untamed. This is a 25-cent. This is #1, a 25-cent DC. Now, I thought that was a Kubert cover, but it's actually a Bernie Wrightson cover. If you see that, I don't know if that's the right direction. I was kind of surprised. That does not look like a Bernie Wrightson cover to me at all. But look at those fabulous colors. And one more to show. This is Beowulf Dragon Slayer, another DC. This one is a little bit beat up, but still, I loved the colors on these things. This is issue #2. And then I'm hoping to put them on a display, like, so that I could see all the colors at once, right? Anyways, what do you think of those? They're more obscure titles that I wasn't really aware of, but look how gorgeous those covers are. Okay. The next thing I guess I'm going to show off are some books. Now, the last week I showed off some books that were sci-fi. I actually picked up some ones that were fantasy, and I wanted to show these off. Now, first off, there's 4 books, and they seem to be by an Akers, and then it suddenly changes to Prescott. I'm kind of confused. I don't know what's going on with this. But this is number 49, and it's The Sons of Scorpio. I just thought that was a cool book cover. The Saga of Prescott of Antares, Part 2, I think. Then we have Dre Prescott. So I guess this is the character's name. And there we have the author's name. And this is Flyers of Antares. And that's number 145. Then we get the next one, Dre Prescott, number 20. A Sword for Cregan. And finally, we got a Victory for Cregan. But notice Dre Prescott. The author's name seems to be gone. And it seems like Dre Prescott is the character's name. So it's really strange that they wouldn't put the author's name anywhere on the book. But if that's the author, it also, when you read the back, it seems like that's the character. So this is very strange. They like saying that trying to say that these are kind of like an autobiographical thing. I don't know. It's a very strange series that I know nothing about. If any of you know anything about these, but I mean, it's like number 20, number 22. I guess it's a very long running series. Did it have more than one author? But again, I got each of these books for $2. I'm not much into fantasy, but I really did buy these for the cool book covers. But who knows? I'm just curious. I might actually try to read this series, or at least the first couple. All right. After that, I did buy. I did get my haul in the mail. My new comics haul, which I didn't go ahead and show. But I did start reading too. So let's talk about the first one. I got this Godzilla IDW. The IDW is putting out what's called a library collection. And so I wanted to try one of these out. I'm not a big IDW fan because, number one, they're always licensed. So their comics don't come out regularly, right? It's whenever they put one out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't often follow many of the characters. And then I don't know if they always get the top tier artists. The interior art is usually just okay. The covers are usually better to try to draw you in. So I just wanted to try it out. And I did, and I read the first... so I guess there's like 3 sets of books in here. And I read the first one, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, is it earth-shattering or anything like that? No, it was a fun read about... it was about this policeman who, this Yakuza guy's after him, and he enlists or he coerces some of the monsters from Monster Island. It's a little bit convoluted, but it was a fun, quick read, and the cover art is usually what really draws you in. Sometimes there are some double page splashes that are nice. The one weird thing is that these books have a different smell to the other, like for example the one that I'm going to show next, which means they must be using a different publisher or whatever. It's not a deal breaker, but it was weird. I kept actually smelling the book as I was reading it because it was brand new. So anyways, for the price that I got this, I'm going to say I'm enjoying it. I'm only 1/3 of the way through it. They do have a series already out of Star Trek, so I might go ahead and invest in those. Another one that I got and I started reading was SpiderMan Deadpool. So it's a team up, and the first one is called Isn't It Romantic? And this is in the Marvel Epic Collection, but they call them the Modern Epics. And I've never read any of these. I have not read a lot of the modern comics, and so I decided to jump in and see what it's like. And it's kind of funny because Peter Parker is kind of the grown-up one, and Deadpool is the one that is acting foolish and sneaky and childish. And I'm going to have to say I have not read much of this, but the art is really good, and I'm actually enjoying them. They're worth reading. So I will give you an update as I read more, because I've only read like 2 or 3 of the issues, but I'm quite enjoying it. Next, I read Batman Ego and Other Tales, and the reason I bought this is I'm trying to get a lot of Darwin Cook's work. He's one of these artists that has a very cartoony style that I find very appealing. I really like his work. I'm waiting for his there's a gangster series that I'm reading. I forget the name of it right now, but I've talked about him a lot, right? So he's this career gangster, and I'm waiting for that collection to come in the mail. But so he did Batman Ego, and there's about 3 or 4 different stories in here. So Batman Ego is a tale where Batman and Bruce Wayne confront each other. So it's kind of a hallucinogenic while he's sick. And it was actually a pretty interesting story. I liked it. So I'm going to be showing some of the art. Now, this art might not be for everyone, but I find his art, it can be very appealing. I don't know, like if you like, I hate to compare it to Mignola, but in many ways it's very similar to Mignola. Who else can I compare it to? There's another artist that is very similar. Oh, Tim Sale. In fact, Tim Sale even he even is the artist on one of these. Darwin Cook is the writer, and Tim Sale is one of the. So I'm going to say that if you could pick this up, this is definitely worth a read, and just for the really nice art. So, for example, here's a picture where Bruce Wayne is confronting Batman. Yeah, but like I said, this art is not going to be for everyone. Like if you do not like what I'm showing off, and then you'll probably like, you know, a more serious art style. Yeah. So there's I think two. They put out a Batman black and white series, and he did a couple of those. Those are actually really pretty. Now, I don't know if you can deny. I mean, look at the art on those two covers. Like Darwin Cook, really, when he was good, he was good. I mean, look at that. I actually need to track down that cover. That is gorgeous. So he did a Catwoman story in here, and I thought it was really good. So I'm going to skip through that. In fact, some of the characters in this Catwoman story were modeled off of some of the characters from that Career Gangster that he did. There you go. There's another picture. I'm probably talking about this too long, and it might get boring for you. Sorry. I wanted to show you the one that was done by this one. By Tim Sale. Oh, look at that. Okay, yeah, you can immediately see that the art is slightly different. I mean, if you go in on it, but that's a great double page spread. That's a great. He's hanging upside down, and Catwoman covered him in kisses. All right, let me go ahead and move on. I'm going to say that I spent a long time on this, so I actually really enjoyed it. Like, if you can find this one, I picked this up used on Facebook, so for like $5, with a bunch of other things. Did I show off my albums yet? No, I didn't. Okay, they're right here. So I went to the record store while I was waiting for pizza, and I'm going to show you. I didn't take the prices off, so you'll be able to see what I paid for them. The first one I bought was this Keely Smith Little Girl Blue. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I have this one or not, but it's with Nelson Riddle. I know it's going to be lush, Guz 69. But what I really like about this is when you flip it over, there's another side, Little Girl New. I mean, that's pretty cool the way that they did this. So one side is more torchy, and then the other side is more upbeat. And I just thought that's great. Now, I mostly know Keely Smith singing duets with Louis Prima, and I believe that was her husband. I really don't know her that well as a solo artist. So that's a weird. Oh, this is a promotional. I actually don't like promotional. I mean, that label, what do you call it? It's ugly. I like colored in my records, so I know some people are really big into promotional, but not me. All right, the next one I got was a Living Stereo, Billy the Kid and Rodeo, Morton Gould. Of course, I got it for that crazy cover, but I am collecting Living Stereo, and yeah, I grabbed that. It was a little, like I said, a little more than I wanted to, but Living Stereos are really going up in price recently. Now, when I was checking out of the record store today, the guy was like, I'm really surprised because you never buy, heavy metal. Because the last three that I bought were heavy metal, and yeah, I was like, yeah, mostly, whenever I see them, they're very expensive. And I also forgot to say, like, so many of them are beat up. Like, I've been having a lot of trouble finding the Nazareth albums that I want. I did find this one, but I mean, it's not in really great condition. But man, I cannot find these. And that one I paid $7 for, and it's got, somebody's name written here. But overall, it's a very nice copy, and I definitely got it for the artwork. And it's got an inner sleeve with artwork as well. Can you see that? Sorry, no. So yeah, I finally got one Nazareth, and then I was very happy to get this Crocus. I mean, that was a total cover buy, but I've seen people showing this off, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to have that cover. I mean, look at that art. That is phenomenal. What a creepy cover. All right. And I don't even think I know this album. I had Headhunter when I was young, but I didn't have this album, so I'm not familiar with it. So I'll definitely it must be a live record, and then they show them on the back. So maybe I do know some of the songs. Oh yeah, Midnight Maniac's on here. Headhunter. Eat the Rich. So yeah, it's a live record. Duh. I didn't even know that. And then, as you probably saw, I found a used copy of the new Metallica album. Very happy to get this. I paid $20. Right when the Metallica craze was ongoing when this came out, everybody and their mother had a copy of this album, and I really felt left out. And a couple people even offered to buy it and give it to me, and I was like, no. I feel horrible, if you do that. If I'm too cheap to buy it, please don't buy it and send it to me. I mean, that was pretty funny. But anyways, I found a used copy of it, and yeah, I liked it. I mean, I didn't think it was their greatest. I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed listening to it, but I really liked the colors on this and the artwork. And I love the inner, I'm not going to pull it out right because it's kind of stuck in here, but the inner portraits are really cool. So there you go. My small album haul, but I did end up spending a bunch of money. Now I'm going to talk about the books and the shows that I watch and the TV and the movies. I'm in the middle of a couple shows. I haven't finished any. So I'm in the middle of Bodies, which a friend recommended because she said it was from a comic book. And she had started watching it, and it involved, not really, it does involve time travel. It's very weird. I'm only 2 or 3 episodes into it, but I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I can highly recommend it yet, but it's reminding me of Dark in a lot of ways, which is another Netflix show that I haven't finished watching, which I really need to because that show is great. I'm also halfway through with Usher, and I know everybody loves the Fall of the House of Usher, and I'm really enjoying it as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm only halfway through, but yeah, I'm really enjoying every episode. There was another show. Oh, I started watching Monarch. My husband and I, we were looking forward to it, but as soon as I put it on, like, he fell right asleep. So we didn't watch the second episode. He was tired, but to his credit, there was a lot of talking, right? It's a very talky episode, which you got to expect, right? It's not only is it a movie, it's not a movie, it's a show. And, it's going to be based on, the actors and the human drama. I mean, most Godzilla movies, the first half to maybe even 3/4 of the movie, it's all just talking. They might have a bunch of action right at the beginning, but then it's like all talking and, human drama until we finally get the monsters at the end. So I'm not saying that it's a bad show. I actually ended up really enjoying the first episode. The end of it was like gross. I'm not going to tell you why. But when you watch it, you'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the watching the second episode. So let's talk about some. I only watched 2 movies, so let me go ahead and pull up the posters for those. Um, and not very great ones at that. So the first movie that I watched was The Gorgon. Now this is a Hammer horror film, and it was mentioned in that horror book that I showed last week. And so I have a real dearth of knowledge when it comes to Hammer horror, and every one that I've watched, I've always enjoyed. They usually have very again, here's that word, Guz. They have very lush costumes and sets, and they're usually fun. And this one had Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I mean, the actors in it, like, come on. Now, was it a great movie? No, it was just like silly fun. Here's another poster that's actually a little bit better. Am I going to say you have to rush out and see this movie? No, I watched it on Tubi with commercials in it because that was the only way it was available, but I don't really mind that. But it was fun. It's just like silly, old horror movie fun. But what you're really getting is, the atmosphere, right? And you get to see all these really famous, old actors hamming it up. I mean, there was a scene with, was it Christopher Lee? Yeah, like Christopher Lee plays this very domineering, like aggressive guy, and you don't usually see him doing that. I think it was pretty funny, like he was grabbing the lapels of police and like getting in their faces and police. It was pretty funny. Another movie that I watched last night was a movie that I already seen, and I do not know why I did this. I think I just wanted some light entertainment because I remember watching it. It wasn't even that good of a movie, but for some reason I wanted to watch it. And this movie has so many plot holes, like so many inconsistencies. You just can't question this movie. But that movie is The Titan. And it stars this guy from what are those? Oh my God. What are the movies where they go to the James Cameron movies where they go to that world and he like gets in a body. Oh, Avatar. Cause yeah. So, it's the guy from Avatar. It's silly, but I enjoyed watching just silliness. Even the reviews online are bad for this movie. Like, I cannot recommend this movie, but I enjoy it. It's dumb. It's so dumb, but I really enjoy it. So if you like, watch it at your own peril. But yeah, The Titan. I don't even know if I should tell you what it's about. Why not? It's so dumb. So they're in the military, and he signs up for a project where he's going to undergo biological changes so that he can possibly be able to live on Titan, one of Saturn's moons. Why? Because the Earth is dying, and we need ways for the human race to survive. But instead of changing the environment or doing whatever, they're going to change the anatomy of humans, the biology. I mean, for science fiction, it's kind of fun, but where it goes is just really bad and silly. But it's fun. It's like dumb fun. I enjoyed it. Okay, we're gonna go back. Oh, I am going to the museum tomorrow. I'm going to the Getty, and there's an exhibit of William Blake, so I'm very excited. Going to the Getty, there's actually 2 Getty museums in Los Angeles, so I'm going to the Getty tomorrow, and going to the Getty is like an all-day affair because it's so far away, and you have to go to the Getty and you park, and it's free to go to the Getty, but you have to pay parking. It's just silly. And then you have to take this tram for the one that we're going. You have to take this tram up the mountain. But the Getty is so pretty. Both Getty museums, they're gorgeous. If you're ever in Los Angeles, you shouldn't skip either one of the Gettys. And I haven't been in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing, an exhibit of William Blake work. Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. I'm going to talk about some of the books that I read. Now, the one book that I read, I forgot to get a picture of, so I'm going to look it up. I'll save that one for last. I don't know if I talked about this one last week, Slan, so by A. Von Vogt. This one is a classic of sci-fi. I didn't like it too much. The beginning was interesting, but I guess that this book is a pioneer. Like, it did a lot of things that were new, but I don't know. I by the end, I just wanted it done. I didn't enjoy it that much. I'm not saying it was horrible. I wasn't rolling my eyes or anything like that, but for some reason, it just didn't captivate me. So, yeah. I listened to the second in the Oz series, The Marvelous Land of Oz. And as you could see, there were a bunch of characters from the first book that come back in the second book, like the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodsman. But there are new characters, and there was some, like, a really surprising thing happened. Now, what I'm going to say about this book is it didn't captivate me from the beginning. It took me a while to kind of really get into it, but by the end, I was engrossed in the story. So I don't know what happened, whether it was me or what, but by the end, I did really enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to the next book. But like I said, there was a weird thing that happened that kind of surprised me, because I don't know if that's happened in any children's book that I've ever read. So I won't say what it is. Okay, this was on Facebook, and I just started laughing. And so here it is. John Carpenter's A Thing Christmas special. I don't know why, but that just cracked me up. I'm a huge fan of these. What do you call those? Man, my brain is not working today. Hanna-Barbera? No, not Hanna-Barbera. There's something and something Christmas specials, but I mean, look at that. That's hilarious. I don't know why I thought that was funny, and I need to show that to you. So the last... No, I have another book. Where is it? What the heck? Okay, so I listened to The Midnight Club by Christopher Pike. I wonder why I didn't... But it's a kid's book, and I don't know why I decided to listen to that one. But it wasn't bad, but it was, I'm going to tell you that after listening to the book that I'm about to tell you, and then listening to that, it was like very jarring. The Midnight Club is about a lot of these teenagers who have terminal illnesses, and they meet at midnight at their hospital, and they tell stories, some of them good, some of them bad. It was interesting for the stories that they told and the situation that they're in, of course. But it is it's a young adult book. Didn't hate it, didn't absolutely loved it. Did like some of the stories that were told in the book. So for me, it would be like a 3.5. But I would think that a younger reader would actually really like it. So I'm going to talk to you about a book called Tender is the Flesh. Tender is the Flesh. Now, I got this recommendation from, I should have known this, like, there was a YouTube video where the guy was like, the most disgusting books ever written. And of course, I saw what was available, and I promptly forgot. Like, I probably put this book in my list months and months ago. And so I started listening to it. I thought, oh, maybe it was one of my Booker Prize winners. But no, this book, although the book isn't... like, for most people, I don't think it would be so disgusting. I'm trying to get an image of it. There it is. There's the cover of the book. And there's the author. Tender is the Flesh. But it hit all of the, I don't know if you say trigger buttons for me. It was just gross in all the ways that I think are gross. And it's like, this is a book that's written for... it seems like it would be written by someone who has no hope at all for the human race and sees the human race for down deep what it actually is. It it was just gross for me. Listening to this book was a depressing experience because it just dredges up all these horrible feelings. Like, you cannot have any faith in humanity when you listen to this book or read this book. You start to have a glimmer of hope with the the narrator, like that keeps you going, but by the end that's extinguished. Yeah, this book was gross and depressing. If any of you have read it, please let me know what you think in the comments. Was it a bad book? Absolutely not. No, it really does make you think, but it's gross. And so the premise of the book is, I mean, this happens within the first few pages. Like, it's all set up. Animals are no longer a viable source of meat. No animal. In fact, all animals have to be killed because even if they bite you or scratch you or you get the droppings on you, you could be infected. And so animals are routinely hunted down and slaughtered, tortured even, and that's described in the book. And then so what springs up in its place is basically a system of cannibalism that is sanctioned by the governments, all governments around the world. And so you have these meat packing plants. So the main character in this book is a head of a meat packing plant, and he takes us through the plant a few times, and we see what's going on step by step. And he also will visit places that have the need for different sources of meat. And so we get to see the different kind of agencies or groups that pop up based on the need for this. Like, it's just every gross thing that you can think of, and then it's gross in all new ways. And for me, this book was a downer. It was a total downer. I should have listened. It was one of the grossest books I've ever read. Not in the sense of, oh, like that's going to make me vomit. It's just the ideas and the way it's presented as normality, and the way people are shown and what they do on a daily basis. I should stop there, right? Because it just makes me... No, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into it. Anyways, do I recommend this book? Yeah, if you want to be depressed. I should have listened to the guy in the YouTube video. It was one of the grossest books I've ever read, and it was depressing. And I need to watch, the second episode of Monarch. Maybe that's why I wanted to watch The Titan, to get rid of that horrible, depressing feeling from Tender is the Flesh. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this Friday night chat, which is a rainy afternoon, Saturday afternoon. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm off work for the next week, and it's not soon enough because, yes, I still need to heal, and this is going to be a good time for me to just kind of heal and work on my room. But anyways, all your comments are absolutely appreciated. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And again, I want to wish everybody a great Thanksgiving. I know for some of my viewers in other countries, that's not a thing, but we celebrated here. So my wishes during my celebratory time go out to you. So good wishes to you and your family, even if you don't celebrate this holiday. It is a time to be thankful for everything that we have in our lives, especially the fact that we do not have to eat each other yet. All right, everybody, you have a great week.